Good morning guys, this is Jared and you're watching my YouTube channel Nature with Jared. This morning I am going to have a go at finding some wild deer and yeah, like my goal today is to try and find some Sambar deer and possibly some fallow deer because I know that there's both up here. Yeah, being here first thing in the morning, the deer have likely been sort of down on the paddocks or down on the edges feeding overnight, and then yeah, being first thing in the morning they'll be slowly making their way back up the hills through the gullies and stuff, trying to find somewhere to bed down for the rest of the day. So let's give it a crack. Yeah, so basically this is a map of the little spot that I'm going to be exploring today. In my experience, the deer tend to spend most of the day bedded down up the top in the red little circle, and then as the afternoon and evening wears on, they actually go down along the ridge lines, making their way down to the paddock below. And then they'll spend most of the night, you know, feeding down on the open paddocks and stuff like that, getting some good feed. And then, yeah, like in my experience, like sort of, I don't know, a bit before first light, they'll start to make their way from where they've been feeding all night. They'll start actually making their way up through the bottoms of these little gullies, feeding as they go. They're generally not in any kind of rush. They're just walking along, snacking, but making their way back up to where they're going to bed down again in the thick cover during the day. And then yeah, and so like given that, my plan is basically to make my way up the outside of the valley, and then I'll drop in and spend most of my time in this little bowl, hopefully catch them on their way to bed. So I'm just about to head into the bush properly now. So I've come up. There's like a four-wheel drive track that comes up this hill, and this little gate, it's this is actually public land. So I'm just above the farmland down below, and as you can see, it's relatively open up here. This particular spot's a bit dry, but as I follow this little track in deeper, that'll go down into a little green valley with some dams at the bottom. And yeah, so I've actually found some Sambar deer droppings, which is a really good sign. They're very fresh. So yeah, this is basically what they look like. And they're on a pretty well used little trail here. So that's a really good sign that I'm in the right little place. And I've also found, this is an example of a rub tree. It's not crazy fresh, but it's also not super old either. You can actually see all the little lines in the bark that are made by the deer's antlers when they're scratching. They're trying to get the velvet off their antlers as their antlers are hardening up. And yeah, it's a decent sized rub tree. It's you can see that because everything's gone red, that's old stuff, but you can see that there's still bark shavings sitting on top of the grass. So it's not super old, but not super fresh either, but it's a good example of what this stuff looks like. And then yeah, lucky enough to actually spot some deer. So like yeah, it was it was very hard to actually see them. I saw the tiniest little flicker of movement through the scrub, and yeah, just slowed right down and was able to see this beautiful little stag. And turns out there was actually a few of them in there together. So like yeah, it was just wonderful. Like my heart was racing while I was doing this. It was very, very hard to sneak close to them. Like they've got amazing hearing, and the grass was so like dry and crunchy, and there were so many sticks and branches around. But like yeah, I feel so lucky getting to like spend time close to these animals. And yeah, because I was just staying still and just watching, had the wind going in the right direction. It was blowing down the hill from them to me. And just got to hang out with them for like probably 15, maybe 20 minutes, all up. And yeah, it was just wonderful. Like they're so big and they're so magic. I just love it. And then yeah, so like, and you can just see like the giant big ears on these things. Like they're just like giant radar dishes, and they can pick up sounds so easily. And that giant big nose that he's got is like they have such amazing senses of smell. And it's funny because like he's looking straight at me at the moment, and I'm only 10-15 meters away, because I'm I've got sort of camouflage jumper on, and I'm sort of broken up by the camera and the tripod, and I'm not moving at all. He actually couldn't really make me out. If I had moved in any way, shape or form, he almost certainly would have been able to pick me up immediately, which which I don't know if I must have done at this point, but he obviously just got a little suspicious, or just sort of thought there was a little bit something funny about my outline. But this little guy was kind of onto me, and started doing the little foot stomp thing that they do, and raising his tail up as a bit of a body language warning sign to the other deer that there's something not quite right. And he couldn't quite make up his mind, but he was doing this for a very long time. I've cut out a lot of the footage, but like I was frozen in a really uncomfortable position behind the camera, and it was like it was so hard, but I was just trying so hard not to move at all, because the second I make a movement, he would just bolt for sure. And I found if you just stay still enough, even if they're watching you, so long as the wind's right, so long as you're not making any noise, and so long as you don't move, they can be a little bit cagey and a bit flighty, but they don't necessarily run away. And so he was a little bit unsettled. He didn't really like it, didn't really want to take the chance, so he just started slowly making his way off. And then eventually the other deer that were with him decide that's probably a pretty good idea, and so they all start sort of making their way off. But and there's this beautiful older stag here with much more mature antlers that are actually, if you look really close, they're actually still in velvet. There's like a white fluffy layer on the outside of them, it's interesting. Like, I don't know why, but Sambar don't necessarily all shed their velvet at the same time. Oh, that was so exciting. So I spotted this little tuft of fur through the scrub, and just decided to really slow things down and sneak in as slowly as I could. And I was delighted to see that that little tuft of fur was actually attached to a whole lot more fur, and it was a young Sambar stag. I found that even though sometimes Sambar deer tend to seem like they're pretty solo, generally if you spot one, there's more often than not actually at least a few around with them. They're just so bloody hard to spot and get close to, that often you only see the first one and never actually see the rest of them. So one thing I like to do is just really slow down if you do see one, and just sit and watch for a while, and that's what I did. And I was delighted to see that there's actually three stags all together, and all different ages. They had very different antler sizes. It was small, medium, large model, and it was just great. Just set up the tripod and just sat there trying to get some good footage. And it's obviously pretty challenging. It's pretty there's a lot of sticks and branches and small wattle trees and stuff in the way, so a little bit tricky to get a clear field of view. But I just had so much bloody fun. Just trying to get closer, and it's I find it's just I don't know, it's exciting and relaxing at the same time. I just particularly Sambar, they're so switched on. There's such good sense of hearing, such good sense of smell, and they can pick up movement ridiculously easy. I'm gonna get my stuff ready, and I think I'll try and follow them for a little while. Generally if there's if they're if you've spooked them and then they've buggered off, trying to follow them straight away is not very helpful, because they're pretty nervous animals. So they stay nervous for quite a while. So if you're moving, following them, they're definitely going to spot you. So I like to just, if that happens, just give them 10, 15, 20 minutes to wander off, and you just do your best. You try and pick what direction you think they were going to head in, and then sort of start fresh stalking behind them. So have a little bit of refreshment, a rest, and then I'm going to go try round 2 and see if I can find them again. or maybe find some other deer or something. But I'm having so much fun. I love getting out here so much, and yeah, just really happy that I get to share it with you guys. Oh man, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so that's pretty much the end of my little adventure for today. That last little bit was really fun. Yeah, so basically, like, did manage to pick up the trail of those Sambar, and yeah, it was probably the easiest tracking in the entire world because they were running at about like 100 k's an hour down the hill, and the ground is pretty soft because we had a bit of rain recently. So it was not hard at all to actually follow them for this last little bit. But yeah, I'm going to take it as a bit of a sign from the universe. But like, they've actually run directly back in the direction where I parked my car, and then like they've taken off down a huge, big, steep gully and stuff. But it's getting pretty close to lunchtime, and yeah, I'm getting very, very hungry. And yeah, I think I'm going to call it a day. But yeah, it's been so good being out here. Like, just being absolutely present in the bush is the best thing ever. Like, you know, not thinking about work, not thinking about anything else. Yeah, the only things on my mind at all when I'm out here is just like, you know, just trying to sense which way the wind's going, and just like all my senses just fully like switched on, just listening for the slightest little twig snap that, you know, might indicate that there's a deer across the gully or something like that. You know, just all the beautiful smells like the gum trees, and you know, the damp earth, and all the beautiful birds and all that kind of stuff. And it's just so good being out in the bush, doing this kind of thing. And yeah, I'm just super grateful to be able to come out and do this kind of thing so often. And basically, I want to make as many of these videos as I can to kind of try and share this kind of thing with more people who maybe haven't had the experience, haven't had much experience with it, or you know, just haven't been introduced to it. Because I know that when I very first started learning about, you know, hunting and deer stalking and all that kind of stuff, yeah, it was a pretty steep learning curve. So like, yeah, I just figure I'll try and share what I can and introduce people to it. And yeah, and Sambar deer, like they got to be my favourite thing to try and catch footage of and stuff, or hunt, because yeah, they're just amazing. They're so huge and so like stealthy and paranoid and switched on, and just like it's amazing to me how big of an animal they are, and then how they can just disappear without a trace. And yeah, it's just they're just magic. So like, I just feel very lucky to get to come and enjoy this kind of thing. Yeah, this is actually going to be my very first YouTube video. So yeah, like if you like it, please like and subscribe, and yeah, leave a comment or something if you want. I'd love any encouragement, and yeah, I'll try and make as many of these videos as I possibly can. And yeah, if there's anything that you guys would really like to know, specifically, like, you know, ask us a question in the comments or something, and yeah, and I'll try and help out wherever I can. But yeah, have an awesome day.